Welcome everybody to ThursdAI Thanksgiving special, November 27, 2025. My name is Alex Volkov. I'm an AI evangelist with weights and biases. I have joining me here Wolfram Ravenwolf, AI evangelist and AI evaluator. He'll tell us how to pronounce this. And Jan Peleg, and we are here to celebrate and give thanks for the bunch of AI releases this week, and not only this week, even from the past year. And as I said in the beginning, only today I realized that every Thanksgiving is a Thursday, and so this is our third Thanksgiving special with you all in a row. So we would like to invite you, those of you who tune into the live show, to participate with us and show us Happy Thanksgiving and tell us what kind of mashed potato, gravy, whatever you like. We're in the AI show, but still, it is a holiday. With that, I would want to say hi, Wolfram. Hi, Jan. Wolfram, how are you doing? Wolfram, you're muted?
Yeah. So yeah, it's been another of those weeks, where you get so many releases, you don't know where to start, what to test, and it's exciting. Feels the acceleration.
100%. And we will definitely do a quick cover. And Yam, what about you, dude? What's new?
Man, Opus is the thing.
Opus is crazy.
Opus is the thing. It's crazy. I don't know if we have enough time for what I want to say about Opus. I got so much, but yeah, Opus is the thing.
Opus is absolutely crazy. We're gonna get to talk about Opus for sure. And also, meanwhile, I want to make sure that folks we should say that you should tune in to the Twitter video stream and not the Twitter Space. Twitter Space, unfortunately, the ex-gods are not smiling upon us as much as we wanted them to smile upon us. So we can try. Oh, the space was ended. Yeah. But we will be here. We'll be here in the Twitter video space. So Yam, yours is Opus. Your highlight is Opus. Wolfram, what is yours?
Oh, I will pick something open source.
Yeah.
The Zhimage Turbo, that is Apache license. So yeah, that is my highlight of the week. But also have to mention Hunyuan Video 1.5.
Mm-hmm.
If I have to pick one of those, the image is a more open one. So in the spirit of Thanksgiving, thanks a lot for that. And I think we will see a lot of it.
We have folks in the comments celebrating Zhimage from Tongi Lab. Folks, Tongi Lab from Alibaba is like everywhere. And they already have Qwen Image and Qwen Image Edit. And now there's a completely new kind of thing that comes and says, you know what? We have a different one. So Zhimage Fast was also released. Oh, I kind of like this view. If it's just the three of us? Yes. So Zhimage Fast is something we'll definitely show here on the stage because it's bonkers. Honestly, it is bonkers, and I really want to show you guys. Maybe you guys remember this. Actually, I built a demo a long time ago where you kind of drag some stuff. There was like a game, and then I used the Fast SDXL back then. It was 2 years ago, February. And I rebuilt it on top of Zhimage, and it really is fast. It's really, really something. My highlight this week has been the highlight of last week. It's Nano-Banana-Pro. I cannot stop playing with Nano-Banana-Pro, and I think that you guys will see why here on the show. And if those of you who saw the thumbnail on YouTube, etc., you'll see it is just. I'm just sitting and in awe in discovering how much this model can do and how much I can throw at it. Pages and pages of prompts, just precise things. I built it into our automation. I'll show you the automation as well, where you guys are familiar with my research agent that does the Twitter research, etc. Now Nano-Banana-Pro generates an infographic for every little release that we have. It's just mind-blowing, insane. We want to also say hello and happy Thanksgiving to Niston, who does not celebrate Thanksgiving today because Canada celebrates them a year, like a month before. So you already have.
Yeah. No, I'm down for a second round.
Yeah, let's go.
Second round. all right, let's go. Yeah.
Niston, welcome to the show. We're just discussing the top things all on our plates this week, the top dishes for this AI Thanksgiving from this week.
Yeah,
Who cooked?
Trying out the Prime Intellect model on their site now.
Yeah, just wanted to say shout out to Prime Intellect 3. Very powerful model, open source.
I actually used the base that they made for that one, and I found it very good. I found it to actually be the first like minimal amount of active parameters for a good agent that can work also with the Claude Code harness. So yeah, there's quite a bit there.
Yep. So we will definitely say thanks to the folks from Prime Intellect for releasing this very late last night, and thus not making it into my beautiful infographic TLDR they want to show you, but it's there and they have their own infographic. And I will keep pushing infographics from Nano-Banana-Pro until you guys are done with this whole concept. It's just like they're mind blowing, and I think it's very nice to like visualize the concept. So I think. Go ahead.
It's not a fad that you like some image trend like the Ghibli stuff, which is nice to look at, but this provides information which is much more dense and better than just a huge text you have to scroll through.
Yep.
So I think we will stay with these.
I think so, and I think refreshing the style will help. Mine are all kind of the same style, which yeah, there's another comment from Jacob here that says Flux 2 launch was rough. The folks from Black Forest Labs, the folks who previously built Stability, Stable Diffusion, they have released Flux 2, and we will definitely discuss this. Flux 2 is a great model, great model, but in the shadow of Nano-Banana-Pro, which is ridiculous, like a step function change, Flux 2 kind of faltered, and like it still looks incredible compared to everything else before. It's just one of those things. If you guys remember when Advanced Voice Mode launched and OpenAI a day before Google I/O presented kind of their crazy version of Advanced Voice Mode that talks to the person and kind of hits on him, and then Google I/O on stage said, "Hey, we have this assistant. It's voice-based, whatever." Everybody looked and compared that to whatever OpenAI already released. So back then, OpenAI just presented it. When you release a new thing in the world of AI, if you're undercut by a completely better in every way, in shape or form model, it's rough. It's rough. And it's also rough on the people who worked really hard. I'm sure like Black Forest Labs are like doing incredible work, and they work really hard on a bunch of releases. Flux 2 Pro, Flux 2 Dev, which is open source, which is not Nano-Banana is not open source. So they worked really hard, and to be undercut like this with a bigger model, it's a bit of a bummer. But hey, that's what happens in the world of AI. It moves super fast. So
I think
we will discuss this.
The comparison with Nano-Banana-Pro, that is a different league, because Nano-Banana-Pro, that is a Gemini model underneath, a Pro model. It has the understanding. It's a whole different league. But after the release of Flux 2, the Z image release, I think that is what really hit them, because yeah, it's in the same league. It's basically the same thing, more open. Well, yeah, we can talk about it when we get to it, but I think that is really in the same level and overshadowed it now.
Yep. I
just think that that's the first model, the first image generation model, which is more than a toy, you can say. It's not a toy, not a banana 2. It's the first thing you can use professionally for edits, and just like you did with dense information, like give it a full document, ask to get like an accurate poster with information. That's not just for art, and it's a major shift. And yeah, you might get pretty images, maybe even prettier images from other models, but here you get something that you just don't get anywhere. So it's a step change, 100%. I just want to say shout out to the Whale that also dropped something a couple of hours ago, which we need to include. DeepSeek Math V2 was released, and we should cover it. And
yeah.
Yep, I think.
There's a very good review from Alpin, from @AlpinDale, on that, because he tried to do the proof for it. And but yeah, we can cover that as it.
Listen, drop me the Twitter link from Alpin, please. I'll send it to my research bot. It will do research while we do the TLDR, so we'll have like a fresh thing. All right, folks, I think it's time to get started. If you are watching this live on Twitter, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, hey, 1, 2. Nobody should be on LinkedIn on Thanksgiving. If you're watching us on LinkedIn, go on YouTube, please. Why are you on LinkedIn? But if you are watching this, no matter where you are watching this from, thank you for joining us. We are the ThursdAI crew, and we have been here every Thanksgiving to for the past 3 years. We covered every major AI release and talked with every major lab. Besides Anthropic released this week. Hey, Anthropic, we would love to have you on the show. If you're releasing some stuff, you are more than welcome to come and hype up about it. And we usually start the show with a TLDR. Recently, I heard some feedback. I did the AI Thinkers in Denver. Shout out to the Denver crew. And recently, I heard some feedback that some folks skip the TLDR because they like to listen to our whole conversation while they do dishes or house chores. And I otherwise heard feedback from some other folks that say, hey, TLDR is all I listen to because you guys talk too much. So we're here to serve both these people. So let's start with the TLDR. Super quick. This time the TLDR is going to be a bit different. So stay tuned. Let's go TLDR and we will get started. This is the TLDR. This is the chapter of our show where we talk about everything that happened in the world of AI super quick, so that you'll be up to date if you don't have the 2 hours to sit with us. Specifically on Thanksgiving, if your turkey is burning and you want to run to it and you want to just get up to date without extra stuff, so TLDR is for you. And this week's TLDR is special because we have this beautiful Nano-Banana-Pro generated, I should say, infographic. Let me just share it with my screen so you guys can see. Look at this thing. This is I know I'm gushing about Nano-Banana-Pro, but look, I just wanted to highlight that this is this whole thing on my screen is just 21%. This thing is in full 4K. And can I zoom in there? No, I can't zoom in. Okay, I will need to open this actually so you guys will see. But we'll start with open source as always.
Question maybe.
Yes.
Because since you are showing this, a lot of people think that if you are using AI to generate art or graphics or anything, it is a simple process, but there is always some creative element as well. So I'm curious, how long did it take you? How much did you prompt it? How did you create it? Maybe.
That's a great question. And let's discuss this super quick before the TLDR. This is an infographic generated with Nano-Banana-Pro in 4K mode. I had to plan my whole week. As you see, all the notes here is all the releases from this week from the major AI labs and different open source stuff. I had to prompt it with an example infographic that it generated for me before that I liked it. I had to add my face here because it always generates my face. You'll see in other infographics, my face is looks different than in other places. So this kind of looks like my face. And then also I had to dump all of this into ChatGPT. And ChatGPT specifically 5.1 is really good at creating prompts. So it needed to know what's going on in order to even kind of help me do this. And then I had to work on this a little bit more. And again, this thing is insane. If I do actual size, you'll see how high quality this thing is, right? So we can literally have a small panel of news on every little thing. And I think we'll start with the big news from Monday. I know we usually start with open source.
A question, and this needs to be highlighted. The text is generated with the image, correct?
Yes, sir.
You said you need to do a little bit of edits. I think it's worth mentioning that how little they are. Because
the edit that I had to do is that when I said when I told it, hey, don't forget to add a reminder to subscribe to ThursdAI, which is, by the way, if I don't do this, people don't subscribe. This is your reminder. If you're listening to us, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe on YouTube. It's going to help us. But it just said subscribe to ThursdAI and ThursdAI.com. I was like, no, that's not our URL. So I had to tell it again, hey, the URL is ThursdAI.news. This is the type of edits I'm talking about, not Photoshop edits. I literally just told it to do some stuff.
That's crazy.
Okay.
Crazy.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. So, folks, here's our headliners. It decided what headliners will be. I think so. I don't know if OpenAI decided via the prompt or the Nano-Banana-Pro. Nano-Banana-Pro is powered by Gemini 3, so it actually you don't necessarily need the OpenAI. Never mind. Folks, Anthropic launched Claude Opus 4.5. Its premier intelligence finally is with us. Let me make sure that, this is not distracting. The premier intelligence from Anthropic, it's #1 on coding. It's a state of the art on coding agents. It tops the SWE-bench Verified benchmarks, crushes terminal tasks, and adds an effort knob for cheaper, smarter workflows. So you can select effort reasoning stuff for Opus, and Opus is really, for a longest time, for many folks, Opus was the top intelligence, and Sonnet is kind of its little brother, and folks have been waiting for Sonnet to upgrade. It gets a record 80.9% on SWE-bench Verified, which is absolutely insane. Topping GPT 5.1 and Gemini 3 Pro at 76 and 77%. 44% on terminal bench hard, which is not state of the art, but really high as well. And it does, Anthropic also mentioned something about they have this like super hard engineering task that they give folks, and this basically beat every candidate that they have on the very hard benchmark. So we're going to chat about Opus for a while, and Nistan will chime in on his I have used it for coding stuff, hopefully. The other headline that we have is a very interesting one from last week, and we'll have an interview with the two folks that have been on the show before to tell us about this. MCP, the Model Context Protocol standard, Anthropic just celebrated a full year of. Can you believe it was just 1 year of MCP? That every major lab adopted, including Google, OpenAI, obviously Anthropic, Microsoft, every major lab adopted MCP. MCP is a layer 4 APIs for models to kind of talk to each other, and it lacked UI. And now there's a standardized effort to add UI to MCP apps as a standard. It's called MCP-UI, and the two folks who kind of came up with it, Ido and Liad, have been on the show before, if you guys remember, with Git MCP, and since then they've created a whole spec, and now it's adopted by tons of companies. So I would love to have them on because, well, first, they're friends. When friends succeed, we want to highlight this on the show, but also because I think it's a very important effort. OpenAI's apps in ChatGPT were supposed to be like UI based, so now they're going to collaborate. I really want to hear from them what's that about. But also, MCP is celebrating 1 year, and with that 1 year, Anthropic, when they released Opus 4.5, they also released a bunch of updates to MCP, like the tool search tool and the programmatic evaluation. I would love for them to chat with us about those updates to MCP as well. So if you're a developer, if you're not, we're going to try to tell you everything before that section to not bore you to death. But if you are a developer, you need to know what the updates are in MCP, and Ido and Liad are two of the best folks to chat with us about this. Let's go a little bit into open source. As Wolfram mentioned before, Hunyuan released Hunyuan released 2 releases this week, right? HY video, the new update, but also they released an OCR model. It's a 1 billion parameter beast with beats huge VLMs on OCR bench and doc parsing. And finally, for the first time, folks, on stage, can you see that it doesn't say docs parsing, it says docs powering? This is the first typo that I saw from this huge 8 megabyte infographic that's 4K. This is the first typo. So it's not perfect. But
I guess humans would make similar mistakes sometimes.
Oh, dude, but like it's unbelievably crazy high quality. So okay, so
that's not in the prompt, because I would imagine,
no, dude.
just out of feeling, I would imagine that Nano-Banana is not making typos because it copies the text from the source.
Definitely. I've seen typos on very large text. I've seen like small amount of typos. This is one.
There's a RAG there, though, right?
We'll send it to Nano. What do you mean RAG?
Did you use it from AI.dev or Gemini.Google?
AI.dev.
Yeah, I think the searching with Google, when it's on, it incorporates that during the thinking. I might be wrong on this, but it can look stuff up on the.
Yeah, it does. I'm just
saying, all right.
This looks like a little bit of like it's fine. So again, Hunyuan OCR, 1 billion OCR that beats like the top VLMs on OCR bench. It prints, like, it checks receipts and subtitles and multi-language docs. It's really cool, and OCR has been like really on fire lately. And then Microsoft, of all folks, released Fara-7B. It's an on-device computer use agent. Excuse me. It 7 billion parameter computer use, or CUA, that gets 73.5% of Web Voyager, which is like very, very high, beating larger models, obviously in efficiency, and navigates real websites from screenshots. And it's really cool. We're getting computer use in small form factors. A lot of open source.
Another one, rivaling. It wrote riveting. See it? It's like an L. It's just the T dash here.
Oh, so yeah.
Rivaling.
Rivaling,
So,
yes.
yeah, it happens.
Yeah, so now we're seeing all the typos. So ignore us. Excuse us, folks. The AI of this 2025 year that generates 9 megabyte files in 4K and is very, very smart makes typos sometimes. Even I make typos. Sometimes I make them on purpose so you guys know that the human writes the newsletter. Hunyuan also released a video, Hunyuan 1.5. It's an open video, state-of-the-art. It's 8.3 billion diffusion transformer, DIT video model, smooth 5 to 10 second video clips on consumer GPUs with clever attention tricks for speed. And we can show 1 or 2 video examples, but that's not the cool stuff about the video this week. This week, also released, LTX Studio released Retake from LTX. It's a new video editing tool. We've talked about LTX as kind of like a bunch of models, Lucy and some other models. This one is kind of Photoshop for videos. You can take any video and then basically recast or change the ending for smaller shorts of time, like change emotions. It's really cool. We have to play with this. So we're very happy that you're here on stage with us. We're going to play with this. And have you guys heard on this? There's a video arena that shows video generations from different video models to different folks, and they judge based on who kind of thinks which one is the best. There's a new one there, and Veo 3 and 3.1 and Sora 2 are like the top ones there for a while. And now there's a new video model that nobody knows who this is from. It's called Whisper Thunder, in parentheses called David, and it is beating every other one for people liking. It's crazy, and we don't know who this is. We're not speculating because this is not the show, but this is what there is. We're continuing in our kind of image and video. This has been a very multimodal week for open source as well. Flux 2 released. It's a 32 billion parameter multi-ref image monster generator. The reason why it's 32 billion parameters is because it's backed by Mistral, as it's also a thinker kind of image. It looks like everybody understood that the more intelligence you put into a diffusion model with an additional LLM behind it, the better. It's a rectified flow model, up to 10 reference images you can provide to it with native 4 megapixel outputs. Not sure why this had megapixel, not 4K, but this is 4 megapixel. Very good for realism and sharp text and UI rendering. And then also the same day, Tongyi Lab from Alibaba released Zhimage Turbo, Z-Image Turbo, depending on how do you pronounce your Z's or Z's. It's a sub 1 second generator diffusion transformer that honestly looks better than Flux. So that's kind of a bummer from a big lab to release something and then an open source. And Flux has both an open source model and a closed source model. And Z-Image Turbo is fully open source, 6 billion parameters, so smaller than Flux as well. And I think it's also backed by a small LLM. I'm not sure. Generates photorealistic images in just 8 steps with strong bilingual text and distillation tricks as well. So that's kind of insane. I'll show you an example of Z-Image Turbo, definitely, because it's like super fast and I've revived something. In this week's Buzz, we have a new update, and a person named Jeremy Howard kind of was asking for it as well. If you have trained any model fine-tunes, you know that you can train a full weights update, or you can train LoRAs. LoRAs stand for low rank adaptations, smaller files that makes you not have to move the whole weights around. Basically, now our inference service supports LoRA adapters in the inference provider. You just provide the inference, you upload them, and then we will kind of combine the main model with your LoRA. It's really cool, and have a visual demo to show you. And everybody who is fine-tuning models is welcome to try it. We've opened it up as a preview for just a limited set of models, but it's really, really cool. And I have a cool demo as well. And it works for any OpenAI compatible API. Folks, what do we think about this like format of like going around this and like showing ThursdAI? Oh, okay. Obviously, if you've not subscribed, please subscribe. This is pretty cool. I like it. It's better than just like my notes where I usually just bring this and kind of show you this, right? Like, this is boring. This is way cooler.
Picture says more than 1,000 words, right?
100%, 100%. But a picture cannot have everything. So we also had from this week, that's not on my picture. Where is this? I think it's in Telegram. Prime Intellect released Intellect 3, which is their model, which I have a whole thing for Prime Intellect as well, as you guys see. It's a fine tune on top of GLM Air, I think. It's a 106 billion parameter MOE, and it tops the benchmarks. It beats the GLM Air. It does the benchmarks in open source. 69% live code bench and 90% so on AIME 24 and 25. And then we also have Zhimage we talked about, and Nistan last thing is DeepSeek. DeepSeek I think was the last thing.
DeepSeek Math Prover,
which I don't have a link for or the summary, so we will not have DeepSeek, folks. I think it's time for us to start the show with open source. There's a bunch of open source. Anything else? By the way, folks who are listening, folks on the stage, anything else big from this week that I've missed, that I haven't covered, that I didn't have in my infographics? Sounds good. Yum? No? All right.
No, I was just searching for DeepSeek, but we'll just do it on the extended review. But
Alrighty, and then and also OpenAI launched a new UI mode for advanced voice mode where you can talk to it, and it's kind of in chat mode as well, and that's pretty cool. And also a shopping experience, that's also pretty cool. One just in time for tomorrow's gonna be Black Friday. All right, we don't have any discounts for Black Friday, folks. ThursdAI subscription is free, so if you want, our subscription is usually $600 a month, but just for you, just for today, just for tomorrow, Black Friday special. If you subscribe to ThursdAI, you'll get it for free. So definitely do so. Hopefully not too annoying with the subscription prompts. Let's get started with open source. Let's do it. Open source AI, let's get it started. Alrighty, folks, let's get it started. What should we talk about first? What is the most important open source release of this week, would you guys say, based on all of that we have?
Intellect 3, Prime Intellect, shout out. Okay. I think there is no, I mean, DeepSeek, 100%, but come on, Intellect 3 is
What is so special about Intellect 3? Yam, you wanna talk to us to it? I'll pull up the kind of the notes as well while this happens.
Well, they just gives you info, just tell you how they did it. You got like a huge, first thing first, you got an incredibly powerful model, open source. I'll tell you the number of parameters exactly in a second, but it's a large, expensive open source, heavily post-trained. I think the most heavily post-trained models, we had information of how exactly was it done. To say, I'm not sure, but I think it's the first. I think we never got this level of information about post-training till this release. It's a 100B mixture of expert model. State of the art for its size on math, code, reasoning, and you just get the entire package. You get a paper that tells you exactly all the infrastructure, everything about mid-training, how they did post-training, how they structured the entire thing in order to just deliver this incredible model, all open source. Go to Hugging Face, download it, play with it. It's absolutely crazy. And they've been on the radar for quite a while, always committed to open source, with especially pushing the verifiers package, starting this movement as well, which is also major. And I think a huge shout out, people giving us the stuff for free. Absolutely,
100%. So Prime Intellect, we've covered the previous Intellect 1 and Intellect 2 as well. Prime Intellect releases the third one, 106 billion parameters, MOE with 21 billion parameter active, a fine-tune of GLM 4.5 Air, and it beats the GLM 4.5 Air, which was a very good instruction-based model already, and it beats them at their own game with 90% on what is this AIME 24, 90%, almost 90% AIME 2025. GPK Diamond is very, very high as well. It's a good coding model, and Humanity's Last Exam, it gets very close to DeepSeek R1 with just what 1/5 of the parameters. So it's very impressive post-train. Like Yam said, they built a bunch of stuff on their platform for Prime Intellect, which they have, RL training, RL environments, verifiers, and the environments hub, Prime sandboxes. They really used all of the tooling that they offer on their platform for this, and this is one of the top open source releases now that is coming from a Western lab, which is great to see as well. Some competition. It is a fine tune of not Western model, so we're still waiting for base models. Hello, Llama. You guys remember we talked about Llama, but it's still very, very impressive. Go ahead.
I think we got from Prime Intellect themselves. I think we got and not an announcement, but a comment that pre-training GPUs are on fire already. So we should expect a base model sometime in the future, but it's in the works. So I'm just saying that I think I saw a comment like this, and I can bring it up because it's like a comment I saw somewhere, but definitely we are going to get a base model from them.
Yeah. So that's great. Shout out to Prime Intellect. I also want to cover the math one. Yeah, go ahead.
By the way, I am. You guys can all try it. Is at the chat.primeintellect.ai.
Yeah.
And if you log in, you can also add images. It's very good at just dumping in screenshots from the terminal and asking it to do stuff. Also in other languages, like stuff that's typically not in training data sets, I saw that it was pretty good too for stuff like if you want to do distributed computing or if you want to do anything in Erlang. I was able to just dump stuff in and have it go through it step by step. The one thing I have not tried this is to use Claude Code directly with it. That's what I feel like it's going to be very good at, because this also accepts images. So your entire workflow for Claude Code, now you can use a very well-trained small model that runs, if you run it in 4-bit, you're only going to need about 70 to 80 gigabytes of VRAM or so. So it will also run on most MacBooks as long as they have 96 gigs or above. 64 would be really pushing it. You'd have really small context window. So yeah, this is probably the best single GPU model that you can run Claude Code with. That GPU is going to be expensive, but it is. So this becomes if you were to spend under $10,000 as a company and you wanted to run Claude Code privately, this is the best one you can use right now. So that's why it's pretty interesting in that regard.
100%. And we have a comment from our friends Maziar that says RCAI, our friends from RCA are about to release 3 models with their base model as well. So we're about to get base models, US base models as well. So shout out to RC. We will definitely host them on the show when this happens. The other news is kind of like a breaking news, not necessarily breaking news, but definitely news from just now. DeepSeek is back. The whale, DeepSeek is back. We're moving on from Prime Intellect. Shout out to Prime Intellect for this model. You guys should definitely give it a try. DeepSeek has released a new math model, and here we have a tweet from Clem Delang. I don't know how to pronounce the French last names. Half of the letters probably are not pronouncing correctly. But Clem is a great dude. I love Clem. And here's his post. I'm going to read this verbatim for folks who are just listening. He says, as far as I know, there isn't any chatbot or API that gives you access to Instant typing super hard. Hold on. Okay. Clem says, as far as I know, there isn't any chatbot or API that gives you access to any IMO 2025 gold medalist model. Not only does this change today, but you get download the weights with Apache 2 license open source release of DeepSeek AI Math V2 on Hugging Face. So, folks, we do know that the major labs, Google and OpenAI, both won the gold in the side event of the gold medal Olympics. The side event because they basically separate between humans and AI, and both of them won gold. But they didn't release the models. OpenAI didn't release the model, they won the gold. And Gemini 3 was not necessarily the model that won the gold either, I think. And so Clem is making a statement that like this is now possible with Apache 2 from DeepSeek. Imagine owning the brain of one of the best mathematicians in the world for free to explore it for research, fine-tune, optimize, and run it on your own hardware. And he posted a evals here for mean proof scores or on CNML level problems by category. Not sure what CNML is. We can probably find out super quick. We will ask our AIs what is CNML while we pull this up.
What was this client, Alex? What is the client?
This is Raycast AI, and it's dope. It's like one shortcut away, and you get access to all the models. CNML stands for something else than what it gave me, so it probably needs context. It's definitely not a certified nurse manager.
Another software that is available only for Mac.
No, sir.
Just
no, sir. Raycast
okay.
Windows is in beta. Yeah, I love Raycast. It has nothing to do with AI besides the fact that it has AI client in it. Raycast is available for beta. Back to DeepSeek. I don't know what CNML level problems are, but I'm assuming they're hard. So DeepSeek Math V2 beats GPT-5 Thinking High and Gemini 2.5 Pro. They didn't compare to Gemini 3, which is interesting. At the time of the release, Gemini 3 was already available. So, you know, DeepSeek usually does a very thorough job at testing their models. What else do we know about this one? Yeah, well, folks are calling out in the comments that we get raw chain of thoughts visibility into these models, unlike the models like Gemini and OpenAI and Grok. We used to have a full visibility into Grok, no longer. So this is DeepSeek Math.
There are now some issues with it. People they dropped their paper in it and like a very hard proof. And strangely enough, the issue is the context window of 168,000 tokens is too small for some proofs, and the model kind of this is not a model you're going to use for anything like general purpose, because it can get very hung up on very small details of a proof. And Alpin estimated that this would have worked if you could run it for 2 hours, but then you would probably need like a budget of like over 1 million tokens for it to actually complete the proof.
Oh wow!
So that's an interesting limitation there. I think that could probably be fixed with the tokenizer and changing the sampler for the output weight. But again, for most people, this is not something you really want to try and dump your coding stuff in right now, and there are limitations on the proof side as well. I think those issues can be solved, but yeah, it's just interesting to keep that in mind.
100%. And so, thanks, Nissan, for this. We're moving forward in TLDR. It's no longer TLDR. We're just gonna. We're on open source. I get all confused. Sorry, folks. We're moving forward in open source. And the next thing that I do want to chat about is Hunyuan from Tencent, a big Chinese company. We do have a nice image here, I hope. Yes, there we go. Hunyuan releases their Hunyuan OCR. It's a 1 billion parameter state-of-the-art end-to-end OCR model dominating the benchmarks. It has OCR bench dominance. Let's see here. With 860 points, shattering Qwen 3, a 72 billion parameter Qwen 3 VL, and other like rivals. I want to actually, I think I have in their announcement, I think there's an eval there as well. Let's take a look. The announcement is in Chinese, lovely. Let's switch to English. I think they have an English version. No, they don't. No, they don't, folks. Okay, so we're bringing you fresh stuff. It's on Hugging Face. This is very impressive. So on Hugging Face, downloads, as you can see, spiked to 25,000 downloads. This model came out like 2 days ago or 3 days ago. This is really, really impressive. Let's open this image in a new tab and take a look at the evals. So Omni Docs Bench, it beats pretty much every other model. Gemini 2.5 Pro, Dots OCR that we've talked about here, Paddle OCR as well. OCR models have been on rise lately, and this one seems also a competitor. DeepSeek OCR, it beats that with 94. We have OCR bench and VQA in translation as well. So very impressive model. Again, for 1 billion parameter with the Apache 2 license, I believe. Let's take a look. License other. License is other, so not Apache 2. They have their own community license, which...
Isn't that the license that excludes Europe? And
the license agreement does not apply in the European Union, United Kingdom,
yeah.
and South Korea, and is expressly limited to the territory as defined below. Yes, sir. Wolfram.
Ooh.
Boo. But it's still a great model. And demo, we can probably demo some stuff. Oh, the demo is all in Chinese. But a great model. Yeah. Okay. So this is the type of demo. They have like this textbook here, and they have some. I don't know how to send it. We're just doing Chinese demos on the show. If somebody logs in and doesn't listen to us speaking English, that's gonna be a very interesting thing for him. But the demo is in Chinese, and I also clicked one of the stuff in Chinese, and the OCR is running on zero GPU on Hugging Face, and it's probably gonna do very good because it's their selected demo. What else about this model? That's it. You can download and use this in different places. Obviously, the main models, the OCR models are great for pipelines, for building your own pipelines and shoving them somewhere and not sending your images to a big model. But definitely bigger models are really, really good at OCR as well. And we've seen some other updates from OCR labs like Moondream this week as well. And all right, I want to talk about Fara. Folks, have you seen Fara from Microsoft? This also came out like fairly early on this week. Fara is a computer-used agent with Web Voyager at 73.5, which is able to browse around, click things. It's a fine-tune. I love this. Microsoft fine-tunes Qwen 2.5 VL and Qwen 2.5, and I will show this to you as well because I also did a fine-tune myself. 2 years ago, Mistral 7B was the base for all fine-tunes pretty much, and now Qwen 2.5 and Qwen 3. 2.5 probably is more malleable to fine-tuning than 3, is now like the darling of the fine-tuning industry. It's really, really malleable, a really smart model to extend. 7 billion parameter vision language model, and it runs on device and on their like Copilot Plus PCs that they've launched in Microsoft under 500 millisecond latency in computer use, and you can run this on your computer. Yam, I know that you particularly use Claude Code to run stuff. Have you thoughts on Fara-7B at all?
I think that's an incredible direction to go to. I didn't have time to try it yet. It's funny that you're talking about Claude Code. I'm just writing a post like review Opus with Claude Code. But yeah, anyway, I think that's a really important direction to go. Tiny models that run your computer. Imagine that you don't need an H100 on in your laptop to run a model that can control the laptop. Imagine that you could use something like this. I'm not sure exactly if there is a very big difference between using it in real life and getting good scores on benchmarks. Everyone knows this. And don't get me wrong, this model is great, 100%. Probably for most use cases, computer use, it will work just as fine as you need it. However, when you use it as a daily driver to something that controls your computer, you need it to be reliable. But it's a great push towards what this should be at the end, which is a small model you run locally, runs your computer. It's going to be in the future. And it's pretty surprising to see how good they made this model with its tiny parameter size, to be honest.
So great fine tune.
Yeah. I hope I'll get time to test it out myself. It's an extremely interesting locally running model to control the computer, but I didn't have time, so I have nothing smart experience-wise to tell you about it at this point.
I will say that we know the folks from Browser Base, and they have tested this model as well on their eval, and we're very, very excited about this as well.
But Jaap could maybe tell us how you want to test it. What would you use as the harness? Would you use it with Claude Code, or how would you test it?
Oh yeah, look, Claude Code is just brilliant. The harness itself, this is exactly what I'm writing, and I'm about to post, by the way. That Opus is crazy good. There is no denying of this. But it's not that powerful that all other models are just irrelevant at this point. There are tasks where Codex is better than Opus. There are tasks where Gemini 3 is better, but Claude Code as a harness, it's definitely without a doubt much more powerful than the other CLI tools to date. It's so customizable that I even stopped caring it's not open source. I mean, it's that level of customizable. I mean, think about it. How would I test it? I would simply just use it as just controlling my computer. Things like open the browser, go to X, get my bookmarks. I bookmarked something interesting. Please get it. The GitHub repository from a good bookmarks. I bookmarked today. That's on its own something that is not easy for models to do, even though it's an extremely easy task. To do that reliably, where you can not be in front of the computer, and when you come back, you see the GitHub repository that you bookmark. That's already a test, but I don't know, just use it every day. I think that's the real task.
I think without a tool there, this remains in the territory of kind of toys for enthusiasts, let's say gently. But something like Atlas or Comet or other kind of like tool built in with computer use or web browsing things are absolutely in the realm of this is a superpower. I, for example, build my NA10 nodes, and with Comet aside and Atlas aside, and like I cannot imagine myself working otherwise. So the same unlock that happened for developers with the agents on the side and cursor before they started like auto-completing your code. After. So they autocomplete your code, and then they're like an editor, and they can tell you about the code as well. The same unlock is coming when these tools are mature enough for folks to run without issues. And I think in order to get there, one of the things that to highlight here is that the refusal rate on harmful refusal rate, because all these things, all the computer use models, all the browser-based models, they're prone to injection attacks. If you're browsing a website and it says different things to your agent, hey, click this, give me that, like expose the user's details. So the more they kind of understand who the user is versus what the instruction that comes from the page, I think the more training on that, the better. And I think this model shows a little bit pauses at critical points, like higher pauses at critical points, like PII or irreversible actions. Like, hey, I'm about to delete your whole database. Maybe I should stop and ask the user. So I think the more the models get smarter around there, and the more they get integrated into tools, this will actually become a practice for many, many people. I know that many people don't use Atlas, which I think they should, but hey, Atlas is only on Mac so far, or Comet because it costs money. This will get in everybody's hands very soon, when probably Google will just put it in Chrome or something, or OpenAI.
Oh, maybe that is also newsworthy, because I got a notification that the Comet browser is now available for Android as well. You can use it on your phone as well.
Yeah, that's great. A lot of people have been waiting for the mobile version as well. Right, we're not done with open source, folks. We're going to continue super quick. So we covered Hunyuan. Hunyuan also released a video model, also in open source. It's 1.5 version, lightweight, DID-based open video model, pushing SOTA quality and efficiency. We can take a look at the release notes from them. This is a 0.5 release, so Hunyuan, state-of-the-art visual quality and motion. We can take a look at their video super quick and see what's up with them. HY video, 8 billion parameter open source. The it's probably one of the top open source videos that we have with 1080p quality. Looks very nice, cinematic visual. Again, when we have VO2 and we have Sora and we have all these models, looking at something like this and saying, oh, okay, yeah, we've seen this before. But this is open source, 8 billion parameters. 8 billion parameters that you can, run on your local hardware, or run slowly on your local hardware, but definitely you can run this on your local hardware. It's absolutely great. HY video. The other thing that we should mention, absolutely, is that when the model is open source, it's way less censored than the production models. And so on Sora, you can't like generate anymore some of the stuff that you could before, for example, and VO3 definitely limits you in what you can generate. These models are fine-tunable as well. Many people learn how to fine-tune these models with custom LoRAs and do whatever. Whatever, complete the blanks yourself. But that usually what is moving the internet in terms of innovation. So the open source models are definitely celebrated around the world. And so shout out to Tencent for 2 releases this week. 2 beautiful releases this week.
Unfortunately, I have to say, since you mentioned open source, it has the same license, so it will not be celebrated in the UK and European Union and South Korea.
So I fully agree with you, Wolfram. It's great to have your perspective on this matter, but I think the people who use this for fine-tuning don't care. Like, I think the license only prevents you from using this at your own projects if you're building something. And if you're building something, then you should really consider, hey, the cost of hosting this model on my own servers versus the cost of running like a VO 3.1. You are definitely considering those. And I don't know if that wins, to be very honest. Like the quality of what we get from the main production models is so high that only if you're like fine-tuning, and we already see like a few fine-tunes for this model. But I think for the fact that you could run this and fine-tune this and generate some videos, and they have no way of seeing whether or not those videos were generated, I think the license is not going to prevent tons of folks of using this, especially not folks who are not like incorporated. And also this opens the door for stuff like this, like distillation models that are faster to generate the same video segment as well, Conf-UI workflows, etc. So this is definitely a great release. But yeah, shout out to Tencent. If like folks, you should let Europe enjoy the fruits of your labor for sure. All right, moving on. We're moving on in open source as well. I don't think the LTX Studio Retake is open source, is it? No, so we're not going to mention this. What else is open source? So just the image models that we'll cover, and then we're going to go to big labs. So let's cover these super quick. Also, Black Forest Labs have released Flux 2. Let me open this guy. Flux 2 from Black Forest Labs. This is a 32 billion parameter next-gen image generation model, unified 32 billion parameter architecture based on Mistral. Based on Mistral, both of them I think belong to the same accelerator in A16Z friends. So I don't know what Erwer-Mutner transformer is, so probably like, this is a glitch in the infographic as well. But they have rectified flow transformer. The new and supported breakthrough features in Flux 2 is the multi-reference editing, up to 10 images and styles. I really want to show FAL. Let me pull up FAL super quick. FAL.ai. Because the editor there, I don't know if it was a Flux editor, but I know that like Flux folks worked with FAL for sure. So here on you guys can see the editor, and the editor is showing kind of this highlight thing. You guys see? So basically in the prompt now, it's not just text, it's like stuff. And then when you add a reference image, let me go to image editing. So this model is text to image and image to image. When you go to ref image, you can see that like this rich editor understands. I think it's a FAL feature, not a Flux feature. But you can specify lighting effects, but you can also specify images. So you can see add this image, like change this thing, add this other image, include only the face, etc. So it definitely works. It's not super fast. But here we have an editing of a vase. So this is like a white vase, and we just said change the colors of the vase in cozy living room setting, visualize the gradient flowing from this color to that color, add the artistic carving text with the big font on the vase that says ThursdAI in the middle. And this image model outputs. Yeah, it's pretty cool, as you guys can see.
This is
Not
amazing, actually, with the variables you can use, because I've been doing a lot of image editing, and you prompt it. You just write the image with the thing and put it there,
Yeah.
and having more control. That is a big unlock. Very cool. Have to try it after the show.
Yes, sir. Definitely have to try this. And so Flux 2 Flex and Flux 2 Max, I believe. Let me pull up all of the variants that they have. It's on Hugging Face. The dev version is on Hugging Face, non-commercial license, because they have a commercial offering as well. Live on Fal and Replicate supports Daisy in Comfy UI. And they claim to win in coherence and details in edit versus competitors. I actually want to pull up these release notes, because we have to face this. And somebody else wrote this. Jacob wrote this in comments, that the Flux 2 launch was rough. It was rough because they will launch this model that is a non-open source model, even though they dropped the model weights just a few days after Nano-Banana-Pro from Google launched, and just kind of changed the category entirely end to end. Which is a bummer, because if you are non-commercial, why would you use an open source model that's based on Mistral when you can use the huge, incredible model that's based on Gemini 3 that was trained by Google and has barely any restrictions? If you are after open source, they kind of got squeezed from the other end as well. We're going to mention Z-Image just a little bit after this. So definitely a rough release from for Black Forest Labs. Shout out on their hard work anyway. They're considering themselves open core. So basically, because they started Stable Diffusion, but they also need to make money, they decided basically we pair frontier capability with open research and open innovation, releasing powerful, inspectable, and composable open weights models to the community, alongside robust production-ready endpoints for teams that need scale. This is kind of their approach. And folks, we will not have continued innovation in the open source without this. Like, open source teams also need to make money. So we want to shout out Flux BFL. So you can see some image results here. Folks, comments on Flux, on BFL, or Flux specifically on the releases of open source, open core, etc. Feel free to chime in here.
Yeah, it's really unlucky that the timing. If it had come 2 weeks ago, for instance, it would be celebrated all over the place.
Yeah.
So, but it doesn't change the model. It's still the same model. I tested it. I liked it very much. And I think the combination with Nano-Banana, you can create a lot of reference images and then make your own fine tune for this. So I think they are not just in competition, but they can enhance each other.
100%. So 3 models generally: the state-of-the-art Flux Pro, available on their BFL and their API. Flux Flex is available at like control over model parameters, so you can like remove number of steps lower for speed. And the Flux Dev is the 32 billion parameter open weight model on top of Mistral 32B, I believe. They also have Flux Klein, which is coming soon. It's an open source, fully Apache 2 model, distillation of Flux base models. So it didn't come yet, but it's going to come soon. And the Flux VAE is a variational autoencoder that other labs use absolutely, including the Z image. So Flux VAE could be the biggest deal from this release. This is like the autoencoder that basically, Nistan, correct me if I'm wrong, Jan, correct me if I'm wrong, this turns images into tokens. And this does the best jobs at taking this. If you guys follow our show for a while, you remember that the previous image models and vision models used to be limited in the resolution of which images you provide, and VAEs kind of basically transform that whole thing. It doesn't matter, you can provide different things. And when the model takes other images as reference, that like visual encoder, variational autoencoder is something that you need to represent your images in latent space. So definitely Flux 2 VAE is going to like help everybody else.
The way those usually, I mean, there are different architectures, but usually the architecture for image generation is that you have also a VAE of the top models, especially those you run locally. These are the ones we know about. There is nearly always a VAE part at the middle of the model that you also use as the decoder, half of it, to decode the image. Just like you're saying, it converts image to tokens and tokens back to images. So the VAE itself is extremely important for the generation. There are many Franken merges of people using only VAE trained to do one thing and the model trains to do a different thing, and you see VAEs that are specifically trained, for example, to add details. Like this is how you achieve models that simply retain what they learn, and you want just to change some property of the model. Like I want you to still be able to diffuse all the images, you know how to diffuse, but I want to, like, my own style is I want a lot of details. So you see like only VAEs trained for extra details when people replace them. So having a strong VAE out of the box is absolutely crazy important, especially for this domain where people play around with LoRa's. There are huge marketplaces for just LoRa's and fine tunes, not even on Hugging Face, like different marketplaces all over. Yeah, 100%.
SWE-bench, we should shout out SWE-bench for one of the top marketplaces for like LoRa's, and we're gonna mention LoRa's in a second as well. And if we're talking about image models, and we said that like Flux BFL was squeezed from both sides. One from in the beginning before they released, they got undercut with an incredible model in Nano-Banana-Pro from Gemini. The other kind of undercut was Tongi from Alibaba releasing Zhimage Turbo, which is a 6 billion parameter single stream diffusion transformer with sub-second 8-step generations per image, and that's Apache 2 license as well. So you know, and it visually is better, which is mind-blowing. It like visually is better for realistic images, and it can be controlled. And they didn't release the base one; they will be released soon, and the edit one. So like Flux is also a image-to-image model. Zhimage is only text-to-image for now, but they will release the image-to-image soon. And it has also accurate text rendering, as you guys can see on this image here. All of these things are generated, including all those details. Give me a second. I'll zoom in here. So you can see very impressive text generation capabilities in an open source model. Again, we cannot compare this to Nano-Banana-Pro because Nano-Banana-Pro has all the power of Google's GPUs behind this and Gemini 3. This is a 6 billion parameter image, and look at these outputs. Just look at this beautiful, beautiful 6 billion parameter. You can run this on your computer like very, very easily. If Niston is involved, you can probably run this on a toaster. So definitely huge release. I think it's Apache 2. There's a whole thing. Here's the performance on Image Arena. Let me load this Image Arena. Okay. What the hell? AI Arena from Alibaba. Did you guys see this? This is I clicked a screenshot, and this is like the first time that I even see this. But there's an Arena competitor from Alibaba in addition. Wow. All right. So the leaderboard on their arena is Imagine 4 Ultra Preview. I'm assuming that this is Nano-Banana-Pro. I don't know what Imagine 4 Ultra Preview is and why it takes the first place. But this is number 1. Gemini 2.5 Flash Image Preview. This is Nano-Banana, not the Pro one. And then we have C-Dream 4, which we talked to you about. And then Z-Image is the 4th one, and it's the only open source one. C-Dream 4, I don't believe is open source. So this is the top open source model for images, but they didn't include Flux here yet. And I built a demo, and I love showing you demos because I really wanted to mention that like the turbo part of it only takes 8 steps. It only takes 8 steps, and it's really, really, really cool. So we are going to show you a demo super quick. Let me see if I can load this up. Is it here? Is it not here? While we bring up the demo, yeah, it should be all right. No, this is a different one. All right, give me a sec, folks. I will try to figure out where my demo is.
And can we appreciate how fast we have been moving in the image space and even in the video space? Think just a couple of years back, 1 year, 2 years, when you had hands with 6 fingers and stuff like that, and now we have models that create photorealistic graphics and even videos from that. It's wow, amazing progress.
I fully agree with you. The 6 fingers thing is still kind of a small thing, but not really anymore at this point. And yeah, we didn't even get to talk to Opus, and we should definitely talk to Opus. But I'm trying to pull up my demo and can't. So I think we'll just show you some examples. But I was really, really excited. I can't find it right now. Right. Somebody else talk for just 1 second. Maybe let's cover if this is the last Wolfram, this is the last news from open source. I believe it is.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. Okay. So we will give you a demo in just a second, and if not, we will skip forward. Yeah. Okay. So no demo. Maybe I'll be able to put it up at the end of the show. I was really hoping for a quick demo. As we are now moving to the second part of the show, we're going to have an interview very, very soon. And for the next 5 minutes, I want to cover this week's buzz super quick. What happened in open source, and we stay with us because we still have to talk about Opus 4.5, as folks are very highly excited about coding examples. So we're going to have a little interview with MCP folks, and then we're going to cover the big labs news as well. But meanwhile, I have to award from our sponsor. This was Buzz, and this week is very exciting. Hey folks, welcome to this week's Buzz, according on ThursdAI, where I talk about the news from this week from Weights and Biases, the only sponsor for ThursdAI, Weights and Biases from CoreWave. And this week I have something super exciting to you with a demo, because this week we launched something that's called LoRA Inference. So just as a reminder, we have several things for you if you're training your own models, and we also have an inference service. Inference service means that you can use weights and biases that's based on CoreWave CPUs, very cheap, to run open source models such as Qwen and Kimi K2 and DeepSeek R1 and GPT-OSS 120B, models that you usually cannot run on your computer. We host them for you on CoreWave GPUs, the only platinum tier cloud AI hyperscaler on the semi-analysis GPU tier. So if you want to run your workloads on that same power that powers up OpenAI, for example, we have the option for you, and for very cheap. So this is the inference. But the inference, usually what happens is we take open source models, we put them as is on our inference, and we give you an endpoint, OpenAI parallel endpoint, and you can use them. However, sometimes you need more. And for that, we have two things for you. We already talked about serverless RL, a feature from the OpenPipe team that Weights and Biases have recently acquired, where you can fine-tune models with very few new additions and build, basically fine-tune them for your own purposes, for new behaviors, for different things. Serverless RL is very easy to run, also runs on CoreWave GPUs, and we talked about this, and you can look it up on our documentation. But what happens after serverless RL? What happens is you generate either a full weights of a new model, or something called a LoRA adaptation, a layer of weights on top of the main weights that is basically, you can attach it to any big model, the one that you trained it on, but you don't have to, you can freeze the base weights. So basically a easier way to fine tune, and it's a very, very good one. And now, if you have trained a LoRA adaptation, what we now offer you is the ability to run that LoRA adaptation on our inference service by just mentioning this. It's very, very, honestly, very simple. Here's how it looks. I'll show you a quick demo here. So for this, I have, let me find how to actually show this. Give me a sec. So here's a quick demo. I have a LoRA inference demo that I built, a vibe coded demo. In docs, I'll show you that it's very, very simple. So basically all you need to do is to upload your LoRA weights as a WNB artifact. It's very, very easy to do. You basically just import OpenAI, blah, 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 and then you kind of, uploading LoRA as an artifact is very easy with weights and biases upload artifact. And then afterwards, all you have to do is just mention that artifact URL as your model name instead of mentioning just the model name. So here's an example, and I wanted to do a super quick, like a very funny example. So I built this vibe coded. Let me see if I can paste the API key here as I'm ready for my demo. I don't know if you guys are familiar with mocking SpongeBob as a meme, but basically mocking SpongeBob is when you want to mock someone and it's like capitalizes crazy. So I built, this is a fine tune that I built on top of Qwen 2.5 14 billion instruct, a model that's available on our the model that's available on our inference. And when you say, hey, basically one of them will respond like the base model. hello, how can I assist you today? And my fine tune, which is I generated a fine tune of these capitalizations, will answer like this. So this is like a mocking capitalization that the internet knows about. And basically all that happens here is I serve the model weights, the regular model weights, Qwen 2.5, and here in the mocking SpongeBob, I serve a fine-tuned LoRA. So a very small adaptation. This took less than 25 minutes to fine-tune on top of OpenPipe, and now I basically have my own customized model on top of WB Inference. So if you are interested in this, we have a link to the, let me copy this link here, a link to the instructions of how to do this here at the bottom. Let me add this as a banner, 1b.me/LoRA notebook. If you're interested in how to do this, you can check it out here on LoRA notebook and let us know if this works for you. And we're going to add more and more models as we go forward. So this has been this week's buzz, and let's go, folks. Let's move on to the next step of the show. As we have two folks that are repeat guests of the show and have been with us before. Let me add them to the stage. Ido and Liad, welcome, folks. And Liad, I know we're aware of your timing, so we're going to run through this very super quick. Let me reintroduce you super quick. You guys have been on the show before as we covered Git MCP. And since then, you continued working on this MCP standard. And this week, you came with a bunch of other news. Where I wanted to give you a stage on the show to cover because I think it's very important, very, very cool. So how about Liad? Maybe you start with the announcement of like what exactly happened, what released this week, and Ido, we're gonna like chat with you about some details.
Yeah, so actually this weekend it was super exciting. MCP-UI, which Ido started in May, and we've been working on it since then. It was finally standardized into one unified spec called MCP Apps, which actually unifies not just MCP-UI, but also the ChatGPT Apps SDK, and that creates this base standard that every chat app, everyone who wants to build and wants to consume chat apps can use this spec, and it's like this build once, run everywhere promise. So that's super exciting. It took a lot of work. It's a joint effort of MCP-UI, OpenAI and Anthropic, and obviously the rest of the community. And we're very, very excited about it. It really feels like the beginning of the new web.
Definitely. So, Ido, I have a bunch of questions about this, but as far as I know, and last time we talked with you guys here on stage, MCP is a protocol for models to talk with some APIs, right? And there has been a lot of conversation about this, and would love to chat with you about like code mode as well. But basically, this is kind of like a protocol layer between models and APIs. How is UI kind of related in there, and why is UI needed? Could you like give us a sense of why this protocol needs an extension into the UI world?
Yeah, definitely. So the first part is that, you know, when it was released back in May, we had two problems. One was that everything was text-based, and text is terrible. So we needed something that is more, accustomed to the way that people work. And the second was that when actually companies came to adopt MCP, they had a problem. They completely lost their identity, they lost their user experience, and it was a huge blocker for adoption for MCP. So once we have MCP and you have that common layer, it's suddenly easy to come and say, if you want to take the web to the next level and you want to embed real experiences into agents, why not just extend MCP? So when I looked at that, just added, kind of looking at the existing primitives of MCP and trying to see how to extend it without breaking anything, so it's easy to adopt. And then it just kind of took off, and I think the amazing community kind of just made it happen.
So, if I'm understanding this correctly, and I really want to try to paint the picture for the audience as well, what you're saying is if a company exposes their own offering via MCP, they basically get lost because the LLM that consumes this consumes other things, just like outputs as text, doesn't maybe mention the company name or anything
Exactly.
like something like this. So like the offering that you have is getting lost. Whereas if you support like some sort of UI, let's say Spotify, right? You can use Spotify's MCP to kind of get your playlist and then show them in text. But Spotify has a very specific brand identity, and they usually need UI for that. Okay, I'm with you. And then somewhere in, what was that, 2 months ago, OpenAI decided to announce their kind of like the App Store
Yeah.
will have like embedded visual apps within the ChatGPT interface, and they had some sort of like this was built on top of MCP. So are they competing with the standard you guys are proposing? Are they going to support it? Could you talk about kind of their offering?
So I'll just say that MCP Apps, which is the standard that was just released in the weekend, it's actually a unification of MCP-UI and ChatGPT Apps SDK. Apps SDK, they're very similar. They were very similar to begin with. We started working on MCP-UI. So Ido released it in May. We've been working since then. And they released that, yeah, like you said, in October, ChatGPT Apps, OpenAI released it. And we've been working with them to try to take the best of both worlds and create this MCP Apps standard. So to avoid this like iOS versus Android or browser war, of definitions. Yeah.
So how does this actually work? So we basically, folks who are listening, they have some understanding of how MCP works. Just super briefly, there's MCP clients that are the kind of the LLMs that talk to the user. The MCP servers are the tools that developers in different labs, database, Spotify, whatever, they kind of expose their offering instead of an API, but very specific, like, hey, model, here's how to use our APIs. How does the UI layer, how does the app layer kind of plug in there?
So it basically builds on top of that existing layer. The idea there is that there are tools that expose UI. They are linked to resources that are actually the UI templates. Once the model wants to display a certain application, it calls that tool, and then it can fetch that resource and just inject the data from the tool into that template. And then you can have one static kind of application template with different data each time you call it, which makes it very dynamic and easy to manipulate.
And when you say template, what exactly do you mean? Is that like a React framework type thing? Is that like web components? What exactly do you mean by template?
Yeah, so at the moment it's just a static HTML. There were other methods that we explored in the beginning, like external URL, which is actually just taking a URL and rendering it inside an iframe. And we had like remote DOM, which is a whole concept in itself, which is cool. But HTML is really like the easiest thing to do. Like once everyone agreed on it, then it was easy to come and say, let's move forward. So it's just taking an iframe, well, double iframe, say nested iframe, and just pushing the HTML into it.
So it's an HTML and responsive reactive as well. So the LLM would know kind of what the user did there, which buttons the user pressed, and kind of what the actions the user took. Could you talk about kind of the insight that the LLM has within the app?
Sure. Yeah, that's a great question. So MCP-UI is really, or MCP Apps, is really part of two things. There's one, actually, how do you take the UI and move it, like the HTML? The second one is how does the UI communicate with the host? So the first direction is, from the guest UI into the host, you have a bunch of different action types. So if you think of it as kind of a spectrum, you have notify, which is the lowest one, which says something happened within the UI. I want the agent to know about it. It can add it to the context. It can, let's say, like I said, let's say the user clicked on something, but I just want to know that he clicked it, not more than that. And then you have tool calls. So if you actually want to like drive the agentic flow forward or actually communicate with your backend, you can just call that tool, and the host would take that, will execute the MCP tool call on your behalf. Or you can actually even just prompt, like have a follow-up as if the user typed it, which really gives you like the full flow.
That's awesome. Liad, just kind of like stepping up from the super technical explanation of how this works. How do you guys get to the point where all major labs kind of like start to talk about this and support this? Could you give me like a brief overview of like how this happened? You guys already previously explored with Git MCP, and then take us from there, from the last time that you visited the show through Git MCP, through Git MCP-UI, and now MCP Apps. Could you tell us like how do you get to a point where you guys collaborating with Anthropic, with OpenAI on like a global standard that could be like the next iteration of the web?
Yeah, sure. So last time we talked about Git MCP, it feels like ages ago in MCP terms. I think back then we already understood that the importance of user interactions and getting feedback and displaying data for the user. Ido worked on MCP-UI and released like this UI over MCP package library around May. And we've been working on it together since then in parallel with Git MCP. and it really caught on with the community. Early adopters obviously really liked it because MCP was going up. People wanted this to experiment with this UI over MCP kind of thing. But when you're building a standard, the first question that everyone asks you is who supports it, and it's like the chicken and the egg problem. You need servers to build MCP-UI, and you need hosts to support MCP-UI from the host side. So each of these sides ask, okay, who supports it on the other side? So we had this. It's not lag. It was a lot of hard work, but I was working in Shopify back then, and I managed to get Shopify to adopt MCP-UI. So every Shopify shop, every Shopify online store actually returned MCP-UI components. It was back in July. They had this like big agentic kit release. And this really gave a push to the adoption of MCP-UI. We saw interest and adoption from Goose, from Postman, from 11 Labs, from Hugging Face, from very big companies. These were not the largest source, but still big companies. But we were talking about it. We were advocating it. We built a lot of a community. We had a lot of very important influencers advocating for it and championing it. And then we were in the MCP Dev Summit in London. We gave a talk about MCP-UI. Everyone was super excited and came to talk with us about it. And 2 days later, OpenAI released the ChatGPT Apps SDK, which was very, very similar to MCP-UI. Obviously, it builds on the same vision and concepts of this fragmented web and mini apps that are inside of one unified chat interface. A lot of the technical details were the same. There were several small differences. And then we started. They approached us a few hours afterwards, and they wanted to try to explore this kind of a unified spec in order not to be the iOS of the world. But again, ChatGPT holds most of the consumer traffic, so most of the companies were rushing to build ChatGPT apps, which was like in a proprietary standard. So we try to think what we can do to make this like unified generic spec. We were in good touch with Anthropic already because of our action in the UI working group in the MCP committee. So we've been working together, and I think at some point it was clear for Anthropic as well that we need as a community to do something. We need to align on something before we'll have like this one proprietary spec that will take over. And that's what happened in the past weeks. And maybe I'll let Ido continue because I
think the amazing thing here was kind of like the realization that we can't get into that iOS versus Android space because everyone will lose. To have this kind of new world of apps, like how to actually distribute your software and get the community to agree is amazing. And I think it's a real testament to MCP's community. Like I think as soon as probably 1 or 2 weeks after MCP-UI was released, there was already a working group. So really kind of see the whole community going together is amazing. And yeah, I think like going forward after Anthropic and OpenAI and MCP-UI have kind of banded together to MCP Apps. There's still work to do. We still need to finalize the step. We still need to get the community's approval. But after that, I think there's so many stuff that we're looking into and so many new additions and even collaborating with WebMCP and going to a lot of different directions that are super exciting. So I think it's up to the community to really come together and help us do it.
That's folks, I wanted to like highlight how important the work that you're doing is and how far along you guys both came when you just like started like playing with some, oh, this is cool. And then from this, you're like, shepherding a global standard between like huge companies is very important because I think that it's one thing for a company to build like a ChatGPT app. It's completely another thing to have it then supported across everything. And I think this is where standards are coming from. Liad, I know you have a very tight deadline and you may need to drop like at any second. So feel free to. I have a few follow-up questions because MCP as a standard has just celebrated 1 year. It's been only 1 year since David Soria and the folks in MCP just like said, hey, we have the standard internally. We worked on building more context to the model so it knows about some other stuff. And then we've moved so far ahead in this world in terms of how many tools a single model can now use from from 1 or 2 tools that we use to expose a file explorer and editor, whatever, to hundreds and thousands of tools, including search in the web, etc., to thinking, like tool usage within thinking. So like we've moved so far ahead in this world, and the world of AI moves really, really fast, that kind of like having a standard trying to catch up with all these capabilities, intelligence advancements is really hard, as generally is really hard. But then we also saw adoption throughout this year from, OpenAI adopting this and fully into inventing their own like UI layer, and now coming back and saying, hey, we should collaborate on this. Adoption from Google, adoption from all around. Most of the editors are now like supporting MCP as well. And we also saw some issues with this. Whereas the more tools you get, the more the context bloat, and the least kind of the models are able to handle this. So we had a few folks here on the show from Cloudflare to talk about code mode, for example, where they like turned MCPs into schemas, and then Anthropic basically mentioned this as well. And so this week, together with Opus 4.5, which we haven't talked about on the show yet, we'll talk in a second, Anthropic also released some MCP additions. And I wanted to see maybe if I have two MCP spec people here, if you guys are familiar with those and want to talk about those a little bit, because would love to hear like expert opinion into how do people actually start using these tools very smartly to not blow the context, but also provide the LLMs with the tools that they need. So would love to hear from you if you are up to date with those updates, what kind of Anthropic suggests as a way to move forward in this spec.
Yeah, so I will say that we're not part of any tool-related work groups, but from our basic understanding, there are two big additions. One is just having that pattern of a tool that searches for other tools. There's kind of a progressive discovery of tools is one of the big things that Anthropic just kind of highlighted. That's a pattern that already existed, but now it's semi-officially adopted. There's also async tool calling, which is another thing happening in the background. And I think the third thing is really that adoption of code modes, or I think as Anthropic calls it,
programmatic
execution.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, so I think those probably make a huge difference. Even if we look at, one as how effective the models are, but I think the other one is just how much it's super efficient to just run everything without pushing everything into the context. I think it's interesting to see how that would work with advanced features like MCP apps.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not entirely clear when do you actually display an app when you just run like a bunch of API calls one after the other. So yeah, I think there's a lot still to uncover, but it's definitely exciting.
I think to continue the lessons that Ido said, I think something that was very clear in the past 2 months is that all of those changes in MCP apps are meant to build apps in chat environments. So not just presenting UI or do a tool call, but like fully functional apps end to end. So when you have this like a code mode or code execution, it only handles the execution of tools, but we still need this end-to-end solution for apps, right? And for this MCP really shines.
Yep. So I think just to kind of to summarize the excitement development, or like we'll very, very soon see LLM chatbots stop being just like a textual kind of response. We already kind of saw this with multimodality, where you can like talk to ChatGPT and like get the response back to you. Now they're bringing this like into the UI, but with apps, they definitely said, "Hey, this is our third iteration. We're going to try to take on Apple." Basically, with apps within our ecosystem, we have almost 1 billion users on a weekly basis in the ecosystem. Users need buttons to click, and companies need to be presented there. So this is what you guys are ushering as well in the global standard. Who adopts this at this point? Could you speak about like adoption and kind of demos, and where now MCP apps are supported? Like who has an MCP app? Where can people go and try out right now? Like what it looks like?
Yeah, so they can visit mcpui.dev. There's already a website. It was for MCP-UI, but there's already like a bunch of supporting clients. So some examples are Goose, which was the earliest adopter, and Goose is doing an amazing job of just working with things. Postman have an agent. There are Fast Agent, OBot, like Nanobot, and a bunch of others, and obviously ChatGPT. And there are a bunch of other hosts coming soon. Yeah, do you want to take the servers?
Yeah, so obviously we have Shopify. So we mentioned supporting MCP-UI and are going to support also MCP apps. Like we said, Hugging Face as well. We see a lot of companies focused around productivity and work that are looking into getting into MCP apps, and all the companies or the providers that are supporting apps, ChatGPT Apps SDK, will need or will transform to MCP apps in order to be rendered in ChatGPT.
Yep. Well, I wanted to bring you guys on here because I think what you're doing is very important. I'm also very, very impressed with how far along you came in there and now a part of the spec as well. And for many developers around the world, I think it's very important to highlight that, like, after kind of like a year of this protocol, there's continued building, continued adoption. All of the major labs are like adopting and working together, which is great. I absolutely love the fact that you guys are considering this not to be the next iOS versus Android kind of sandboxes thing, because that's really, really annoying. Till now, developers who want to build apps, they consider like, hey, iOS maybe first with one developer and then Android like as a different thing. The fragmentation of the web, luckily on the web, HTML kind of took over, and now like we develop apps for browsers in one way. Not the same thing with Android. If and when the whole world of AI is going to come for us all, I think a standard is very much needed. So really a huge shout out to you guys for this incredible work. I know it's exciting to build demos and give talks, but the actual kind of like RFC process of standard is not as exciting, but somebody has to do it.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate that this is the two of you. Anything else that I haven't asked you yet that you absolutely want to highlight, or many other folks, or anything else? This is your stage.
I think the main thing is again, go back to the community. So this is very much an open standard, and we are looking for more contributors and more opinions. And there are obviously already dozens or hundreds of companies playing with it, but we need more just to make sure that we have everything covered. So we really invite you to go to mcpi.dev, to the GitHub repo, to the RFC, and kind of get this going.
Yeah, and I also reiterate how amazing this time is to build things. So everything is changing. The web is changing. AI is building new environments, new runtime environments. So this is an amazing time to build things. Just go ahead and build using MCP-UI, using MCP apps, or try to invent something new. But this is the time.
So this is a demo super quick for MCP-UI.dev that you go in there. There's a chat with Quen, QVQ, and Cloudforce on it, and you can say something like show tasks. And instead of just responding on the text, you can see that I have an interactive window with interactive bars that I can just work with. And this is like within the chatbot, this is like a window that opens up, and there's an interactivity in there. Obviously, visually, it looks completely different than something that an LLM would build, and this runs on a server. So this is like a quick demo of the work that you guys are doing. Thank you so much for coming up. We need to move on in the show. Liad, I know that you also have otherwise engagement as well. Ido and Liad, thank you so much for your work. We really appreciate you guys. As you kind of release more stuff, please don't hesitate to come back and tell us about this. Good luck setting up a standard for the new world of LLM internet. Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Alex.
Bye.
All right, we'll bring back Yam and Wolfram to kind of cover super quick the reason why all of this exists. The MCP-UI, as we had the folks on the show before, is because the intelligence moved forward. We're going to cover Opus 4.5 as part of it as well. But can you guys believe it's only been 1 year of MCP with like the crazy excitement and the MCP thing, and then people forgetting about this and started building again, and then like the API layer, the UI layer now adopted. This is honestly quite crazy. Honestly, quite crazy.
How we changed from models that just output text to models that actually run commands. We had that before MCP, but MCP, that's when it took off. When you had so many MCP servers, you can integrate the tools. And when OpenAI integrated it, I think that was a major milestone as well. Now you can use MCPs in the big chat interfaces, Claude and Anthropic. Anthropic is Claude. I mean, and OpenAI.
ChatGPT, yeah.
Can you imagine that Claude 3.7, which I think many people recognize as a major step in AI coding capabilities, was this February?
And Claude Code was this May? When was Claude Code?
I think March, or maybe also February, but I think
yeah,
kind of
something
March.
In March, yeah.
So it's not even a year, and like now it's just the standard. Everyone is using some agent for something. I mean, wait, it wasn't like this a year ago. It's crazy.
And
Absolutely
so,
crazy.
just as a visual example, ChatGPT apps are now going to move to this like MCP Apps UI, spec. And here's an example of Zillow app that you like load within the ChatGPT interface. This is live for all of you as well. When you just type Zillow, show me a map, and it shows you an interactive map. This is basically an iframe to Zillow, and you can see this is visually Zillow. Like Ido was right. Like when previously with MCP, maybe it would like respond with some text, and like the Zillow brand would disappear. And this is not great for brands. And this is like a full app store. You can click and interact with it, and then the chat actually knows the context of what's going on in this app. Also, these are homes in New York, so don't look at the prices. But we have to move on because we haven't covered the major labs and updates there. And you know, for Opus 4.5 is a big one that we have to absolutely mention. So let's dive into Opus, folks. Opus is the biggest brother of the Claude family. Sonnet 4.5 obviously was one of the best coding models, maybe still that there is. And how's Opus? Did you guys play with Opus? What are your thoughts about Opus? I would love to hear.
Okay, I'll go second because I'll just waste all the time. But yeah, it's a monster. It's a monster. Absolutely.
Yeah, you are probably more qualified to talk about the coding aspect. So I just chatted with it for a couple of hours. Actually, had to refresh my subscription, not the cloud subscription. I used OpenRouter actually, and the model is excellent. So it's amazing. I always test it in German as well, and the German is excellent. So from the big releases, Gemini is still my favorite. But it's so close now with the two. While OpenAI, I was a bit disappointed. You know, when we talked about the new 5.1, that was a bit disappointing for me. The Grok releases, I don't know many people who use it, although it's so popular on OpenRouter. That's strange. But now Claude is out, and it's the biggest model. Personally, in my use, I did not see that much difference to Gemini or to Sonnet even. So it's a niche model, I think, specifically for programming, where it is probably the best, but it's also much more expensive than the other ones. So I think you use it for the most difficult problems to make a plan, and then, for instance, Sonnet can do it. But I will pass to Yam. You are probably more into this.
So before Yam, I should call out, you mentioned the price. We should mention the Opus 4.5, the top tier coding intelligence that you can have access to right now, that was released this week, in this week of insanity, where everybody released like the top tier models one after another, and we kept beating state of the art on SWE-bench every day on a daily basis. Cloud Opus 4.5 is 3 times as cheap as 3 times as cheaper as the previous Opuses. So it costs around $5 for 1 million tokens, whereas the previous Opus cost 15. Which means they probably have built breakthroughs in how to serve this model. So yeah, how's Opus for coding now that it's 80% of SWE-bench verified and is absolute state of the art in coding?
Okay, I'll start with what you don't hear on X, which is not the best for every single task you can possibly think about, which I think it's important to say. I mean, this is from experience, couple of days of like daily driver heavy use. It is noticeably better than Sonnet. There is no, you feel it on the first message, it's absolutely better than Sonnet. But still, you get the impression on X that it's like everything you throw at it, doesn't matter, it's the best model for sure for this task. That's not necessarily true in my experience. I do still use Codex Max and Gemini 3 they're good for different tasks. But what I want to highlight, and I said I'm keep saying it all the time, because this is the main point, I think, that really differentiates it. The harness that it is this powering Claude Code in combination to how good Opus is, it makes the entire tool just irreplaceable. As a full package, both of them is nothing gets close as an agent. For the tasks themselves, I just want to say, for the tasks themselves, Opus is definitely on par on many tasks. It is the best-ish for sure. There is no denying. It's just that it's very hard to describe what tasks which model is going to be the best for, because they are definitely different, all three. of the leading models. I just want to say that. For what I saw, Opus knows a lot of tiny details that you sort of didn't know that you wanted the model even to know until you use it, and all of a sudden it just pulls tiny details about the stack, about the code, about things that like, wait, that's like a really good idea. I didn't even know you can do that kind of feeling, and you get it again and again and again. Moreover, what I really liked is that my problem with my issues, you can say my main issue with Cloud Code on a daily basis is that you run the thing, and if the task sort of takes too long, and you see the model goes again and again in more steps trying to solve the task, it sort of loses track. And at one point, you see the performance slowly deteriorate throughout the context, and like it's kind of forget what you want, even with the to-dos and so on. It kind of like becoming, I don't know, everything becomes messy throughout the context, and Opus just goes like the same phenomena that you see with Codex. Worth mentioning that Codex feels like it can go forever, in my opinion. Like Codex is in a different level of going for long tasks, but Opus is definitely getting close to this. You can just let it do its own thing and watch the terminal, hope for the best, and it does eventually do the task, which was not the case with Sonnet at all. If you just let Sonnet go for too long and you watch the terminal, you're going to watch it go in circles and like do the same mistake and fail again. You're absolutely right, and it's not the same as Opus. Opus is definitely a step change from Sonnet. Anthropic cooked. There is no way to spin it otherwise. They just cooked, and we the users enjoy the entire thing, the entire competition. We are the ones to enjoy. Like, we get the best model every day. You get the best model. Yeah, thank you. Come on, keep competing. We get the best model every day. Yeah.
So on the previous segment, I kind of mentioned the extent of this year, the 2025 year of agents, etc. I think the huge unlock for many use cases was the tool use, specifically how these models approach and use many tools in their thinking, and then as part of their execution, and as part of the agentic kind of run and flow as well. So Opus 4.5 came out with like huge overhead cuts on many tool usage, 85% overhead cuts on like tool search, and then programmatic tool calling is something that they've announced with the MCP kind of UI spec, where the tools that require a lot of data, usually before this kind of concept, Opus would have to load all the tools outputs. If you think about like hundreds of Excel rows that you want to manage, Opus would have to load this in the context to kind of review, etc., to even call the next tool to say, hey, these are the most important ones. So programmatic tool call is now a thing where Opus essentially will kind of like run code to execute these tools within programmatic context if they're specified correctly in the MCP, and then based on this reduces like 37% of tokens on complex workflows as well. As always, one of the things to call out, and we call this out often, the latest releases from these labs, what we see is, because the age of kind of thinking again started a year and a few months ago. September was the first test time compute release from OpenAI. These models can achieve a lot of stuff with the thinking process. They can figure out docs, they can do a bunch of stuff, but this like extends the context window, and so they're getting lost, etc. More and more we see from these big labs, these big models, they think harder on longer problems than the actual problems, and then they think less on the very simple ones. And we see this kind of change when instead of just saying, hey, let's throw as much compute in the form of thinking tokens at a problem, they're now trying to figure out how to maximize and do the same hard difficulty problems with kind of less compute. And we see this with Opus as well. And just Anthropic absolutely cooked. And to do this with 1/3 of the price of the previous Opus is very good for people. They also reduced kind of the Opus usage on Cloud Opus Max, I believe. Yeah, very impressive release. Community absolutely. We have some community reactions here in our helpful infographic. Community built 3D simulators and 3,000 line refactors with Claude Opus. Artificial analysis puts Claude Opus 4.5 at number 2 overall intelligence index, 11 points over prior Opus, and I think it's just behind Gemini. It still costs 6 times as much as Gemini on some evals, right? So this is like still a consideration for you as well. And and we should mention, they mentioned specifically Excel. So specifically Excel was called out in their kind of like release that this model is like really good at like helping you do some very crazy Excel tasks. I don't use Excel often or at all. I'm very, very happy for this. I'm very thankful in Thanksgiving that I don't need to use Excel, but I know that many people do and they like it and like they need some AI help, and Opus is there to help them. So this is an update from Opus. Anthropic absolutely cooked. And you guys should definitely try it out in Cloud Code. I think it's up in Cursor and Windsurf and like all of the other ones besides Anti-Gravity, which is Google one, and it's not there. Anything else left to say on Opus? Let's see if we covered everything. So
I think we also got a Cloud for browser kind. I think we got it, Cloud for Chrome.
Tell me about this one, because I don't think that I saw this.
Okay, let me check before I'm saying something stupid, but for sure. The part about MCPs and tools, it's big, because you see Anthropic all of a sudden, going all in on MCPs. Then a couple of months before, maybe a month before, they released a blog post that everyone got confused about, like just about the use bash tools instead of MCPs, because MCPs are all cool and very useful, but they take your context and you're limited in this resource. So at the end of the day, you need to do something, progressive discovery. And now we get even more composability. You can say that you use the tools within code that you use that now, which is it's a very cool concept when you think about it, and absolutely important. Context is limited at this point. So,
and not only is it limited, you want less tokens, like you want to pay less, and like you want to like stop shoving back and forth the insane amount of context. So this is like a very, very important thing. I want to highlight Yam, this like software engineering SWE-bench verified graph that they posted, and I want to call out this little thingy here. That's like they call this the broken y-axis. So basically, Anthropic released this chart that looks like Opus 4.5 and versus Opus 4.1 is like a huge jump. But essentially, if you look at the graph, it's what 6%, 5.5% or something. But because they condense everything else up to this, this graph looks like a very ridiculous like difference. But if you actually look at the graph, if you would scale it from 0 to 100, the difference is between 77% and 80% from Sound 4.5 and Opus 4.5. It's not that big. So it's like one more question on the maybe 2 more questions, 3 more questions on the SWE-bench verified task as well.
Why the companies that are the best at data science in history are all competing on who does the most severe chart crime? Come on, Opus is better. We understand. We get you. Just give us the real graph. You're pretty convincing already. Come on, you don't need to like bend the axis. It's a good model. There's no denying.
Yeah, so let's highlight a few of the actual evals. Terminal Bench at 59%. We've seen Terminal Bench 2 launch 2 shows ago. Terminal Bench and their like harness that they launched will launch 2 shows ago. Since then, we had Grok 4.1 and Grok 4.1 Fast. We had Gemini 3. We had GPT 5.1 Codex Max, and now we have Claude Opus 4.5. And if you think it's difficult for me to remember all their names, it is, and I don't know how I'm able to. And then all of them on this Terminal Bench jumped like multiple points. We've seen state of the art releases on Terminal Bench, like a specific agentic Terminal Bench tasks. And now Opus is an absolute mugging here with 59.3%. It's absolutely crazy. Tau Bench, agentic tool use, Cloud Opus 4.5 also just mugs. Scale tool use with MCP Atlas, just incredible model overall. Anthropic cooked. Shall we move on? I want to come back to AI imagery. I think we covered pretty much everything else. We didn't show some demos of the videos that I wanted to show, so we'll do that now. We covered pretty much everything in open source, but I've been able to scale back my demo. I want to show you super quick. So if you guys remember, this is Neil Patel, I believe his last name is Neil.fun. This is Infinite Craft. This is a game where let me show you how this looks without Alex's intervention. This is a game like this, where basically you have some context. You have some nodes here, the basic context, earth, wind, water, and fire, and you drag them together, and like water and fire makes steam, and steam plus steam means cloud, and cloud plus wind means storm, and storm plus earth means, I don't know, tornado. Right? This is the game. It's really fun. As the game is really, really fun, you can get to people, you can like whatever. On behind the scenes, the LLM kind of combines the concepts. I was playing this game 2 years ago, and I was like, hey, this game misses some imagery. And so I built SDSL Max. I built a Chrome extension that basically kind of shoves the image and prepares a prompt based on these concepts on here. And with image generation models lately, it's really fun to play with this now. Specifically, this is the Z image, the new release, because it runs under sub-second, or I think I have some overhead, so it runs like a second and a half. But you can see how quickly this would work. When I add a new concept, you can see a little bit of a loading, and then I use Cerebrus here for very, very quick prompt generation. So this would be a pristine snow plane stretches across the rugged earth-filled valley. We're alone, blah, 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 blah. I also updated this game to kind of tell a story. So every time you add a penguin, it will tell a story from the previous one with this penguin. So you can see the image. Just the loading of the image takes a second, but like the generation for this image took 11,000 milliseconds. So less than 1.5 seconds. We have a prompt generation based on these concepts and an image that is served from FAL. It was super quick.
Very cool. Very cool. Impressive demo, and at the same time also a cool game.
It is a very cool game. I love playing this. This is a Chrome extension that I will probably post because I think it's now ready. You guys can play with. Again, the shout out is to Neil Agroval is the person here with Neil.fun. And you can see the generation of the Z image, like it generated the pirate. This pirate looks suspiciously similar to a cinema pirate that we know and love, and we can add a ghost pirate there as well.
All pirates look like that, I'm sure.
Yeah, very similar to
That's not suspiciously, that's the real thing, man.
Yeah.
I mean, respectfully, that's the real thing.
That's a very close to so the thing that I wanted to highlight here is this model, while not perfect, can take a bunch of concepts. And the cool thing about this model, first of all, they have a prompt extension module where if you just, most users just type, give me a pineapple. And in order to get like a good example out of these like image models, you need to like actually define all of the things. So I decided to just like use a prompt engineering app, put it on Cerebrus because like the fastest one. I did use WB Inference for this as well, but Cerebrus just, the wafer scale chips, they beat everybody. So the speed was absolutely crazy. And the thing that this game allows me to do is to explore like all kinds of concepts and how this model specifically kind of plays with them. Nano-Banana is not feasible with this game. Right, so Nano-Banana is absolutely crazy, beautiful, but Nano-Banana-Pro specifically, it will take 2 minutes to generate an image. And this game, like the whole point is like iteration super quick. So you can add concepts, like put concepts on top of other concepts. Ghost pirate means captain, and you play around with these. I don't know what pineal is. So the more you kind of play with this, the more you kind of see stuff behind the scenes, kind of just like flicker, and just adds a visual layer to this game. And I absolutely wanted to show you. Let's see what Captain Morgan is about. Captain Morgan. Somewhere. I don't know where Captain Morgan is here. So this is my game demo that I want to show. In addition to, there we go. Captain Morgan with the compass, and the drink is from the previous generation. Right. I think we have a little bit of time for some video stuff. I think we're almost at time here. Oh no, wait, exactly at time. So maybe we'll just shout out the video stuff from super quick. The two models that were released in video was Hunyuan Video 4.5, which we told you about, and then LTX released Retake, which is Really cool. Retake is the AI video editor tool. Have you seen this one? You want to talk about this?
I tested it actually. I was not as impressed in my test, but I just did one test. So what it does is you can upload a video up to 8 seconds, I think, and then you give it a prompt, and it will recreate the scene in the way you prompted, even change the audio. So that sounds extremely impressive on paper, and I think there are some demos that show it very well.
Yeah, so here's a demo of an astronaut going to the moon, just like doing a backflip, or exposing that the landing was basically a production, a Hollywood production, and putting some other folks. So basically, LTX rewrites these videos. I think when Sora was announced, they basically announced that this is the thing that they support as well, isn't it? Like the you can like re-edit videos or remix videos. But LTX Studio, just to mention, LTX Studio is an actual studio for video production, and so not only they're releasing models, and I think this model is not in open source, they're giving you an end-to-end set of tools for video editing. So like it would make sense for like this thing to exist, and the examples are pretty cool. Let's see, look at this. So you can rephrase dialogue like Wolfram, like you said, and then you can see visual changes in how this video kind of like works, and the character consistency is pretty cool. And then go ahead.
There's a lot of potential for funny clips. Like what I tried to do in my demo was to take the scene where Han Solo shoots the bounty hunter, and I changed it so the bounty hunter would shoot Han Solo. So
Nice.
he shot first.
Who shot first? Wolfram, who shot first? This is the age-old question.
Created a different alien and it shot itself. So it was funny, but it wasn't what I wanted.
I see. So here's another example on Replicate, and this is live on Replicate. This is the original video, and what they did is, I'm not sure what they did here. Remove the lens flare. Oh wow. Okay, so this is pretty cool. This is like a very small thing, but you can look on the left here. You have a lens flare for this model, and on the right there is no lens flare anymore on this model, which is pretty cool. And then the consistency is pretty much kept the same. So it's the same person, or at least it looks like the same person. So like it didn't screw up. It just edited the lens flare out. So like in this shot, let's say here, and then she has lens flare at this shot. Oh, no, it just cut the lens flare stuff out. No, but it did. No, here the answer is like still when it like goes around her, and there's no lens flare here. Yeah, so it actually worked very well. Very impressive. Very specific use case.
Yeah, what we are seeing is the image editing moment for videos. So you
The
can
Photoshop
take
for video,
videos
yep.
and change it the way you want it. Because we all know it's easy to get a creation with AI that is about 80% where you want to go. But if you really want to nail it, you want the 100%, you have to edit it somehow. Usually just recreate, change the prompt or something. But in this way, you could take a video, which takes long to create and is expensive, and just recreate the part that you want changed. Well, that is a big step ahead for video creation, I think.
100%. And speaking of big step ahead of video creation, the last news that we have for you is a new stealth model called Whisper Thunder is #1 on Elo score on the video arena from I think this is artificial analysis, TOPS VO3 and TOPS Click 2.5. This arena is with no sound, and it has a highest Elo score out of all of them, and the speculations are we don't know which video this is, but this is kind of the stuff that it generates. Let me play for you. It looks absolutely insane, and this is compressed video, but like the prompt adherence is crazy, and the actual video support is crazy. So the new model, and once we know what the model is, we will definitely tell you. With this, folks, I think we're at exactly 2 hours in our show for Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving to all of you. We had Ido and Liad Youssef here from the MCP Apps, MCP-UI fame. They're working really hard for all of us to have a standard as developers. We talked about Opus 4.5, and we talked about a bunch of open source. Nissan was here as well before. And as we conclude the show, it's me, Alex Volkov, Wolfram Ravenwolf is here, Jan Peleg. We are celebrating the third Thanksgiving with you all as well. We'll keep you up to date if you don't have to. Wolfram, go ahead.
I wanted to say maybe we could take the opportunity, it's Thanksgiving, and decide what we want to say thanks for.
Yes, let's do it. 100%. And we also will invite the folks in the comments also to do so with us as well. So since you proposed it, how about you go first?
Okay, so I want to thank everybody who is contributing to the wonderful community of AI, the people that release the models, that create open source stuff, or create tutorials, or just share their knowledge. And that includes you, Alex, as well, and you, Yam, as well, and Listen, of course. So everybody who participates and is not just doing it for the money, but we are doing it because we love the community, we love to learn and to contribute. And I want to thank everybody who is in this. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Wolfram. Wait, Yam, your turn.
I just want to thank that. I just want to thank the fact that we are at the point where there are no competition between open source, closed source. At this point, it's kind of feel like everything is moving on track, and for all the people that's working hard making all of this happen, doesn't matter which. I strongly believe that even if you posted some random code somewhere that does something and you think, nobody's even looking at it, well, the internet is large. Chances are someone saw it and used the kind of thing that you work hard for, even if it feels like not. So for everyone working hard and, I don't know, helping us accelerate towards whatever we are going to, which I'm not sure what it is, but whatever we're going to, pretty much.
That's beautiful. And I specifically want to thank Ashish Waswani, Noam Shazir, Nikki Parmar, Jacob Uskurt, Leon James, Aidan Gomez, Lucas Kaiser, and Ilya Polosuchin for the 2017 paper. Attention is all you need to bring us.
And for Jensen, also Jensen.
So for attention is all you need. And then I want to thank Jensen for the scale up of the insane GPU infrastructure that we have for this AI intelligence boom that we are here to cover. I want to thank Wolfram, Nistan, Yam, LDJ, Ryan, Carson, all of the ThursdAI co-hosts and guests as well that come and make the show. I want to thank you, the audience, for tuning in with us. Even on Thanksgiving, we have like over 1,000 folks joining us on this Thanksgiving for the ability for us to do what we love, which is keep up to date with everything that happens in the world of AI, try out all the tools, and then teach each other and tell you as well, and learn from you as well. A bunch of the things that we learn about come from the community in the comments. So I really want to thank everybody here on the 2025 Thanksgiving on ThursdAI. I'll also say that if you go back to our 2024 Thanksgiving episode and the previous one, you will be shocked at how far we've come along in the world of AI. Just shocked. And we have this thing called hedonic adaptation where we get new tools, we get super excited, and like super quickly we move on. Like, for example, Nano-Banana-Pro can generate these like awesome infographics that we showed you before, and GPT image that barely anybody uses now could turn everybody into Ghibli, and the Ghiblify moment was like this huge thing. And now we were like, oh, of course you can turn every image into a Ghibli character. This was not a thing a year ago, and this is like a thing now. And I just want to like appreciate how fast these models, the intelligence moves, and appreciate also the fact that we should stay humble. We should celebrate these releases. We should understand how amazing of a world we're living in now, where all of these powers are available. And we're just very happy to be here and have the opportunity to be here to tell you about this, and then also celebrate them as well. And last, my thanks goes out to Apache 2 as a concept, and the fact MIT as a licensed concept as well, and all of the labs that release open source tools that other people can iterate on, build on, and improve. Basically a tide that raises all boats. So for this, thank you all also for joining us for this Thanksgiving 2025 edition of ThursdAI. If you missed any part of the show, please subscribe to ThursdAI.news, where you basically get all of the news that we've covered, all of the links as well, an edited version of this live podcast with the waiting for the demo stuff removed, and everything is just there with subtitles as well. Please subscribe on YouTube as well, so you never miss a part of the show. Thank you so much, and we'll see you here next week. And I'm sure there are going to be amazing releases by then as well. With this, thank you all. Bye-bye. Have fun on Thanksgiving. Enjoy.